Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Out Loud English podcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Mia. So glad to have you with us today. How's it going, Jake?
It's going great. I'm actually feeling a little bit of, what do you call it, wanderlust?
Wanderlust? Ooh, I like that word. The desire to travel, right?
Exactly. I was just looking at pictures from my last vacation, and it got me thinking about all the little steps of traveling. You know, booking the flight, packing the bag.
And checking into the hotel, which can sometimes be a little stressful if you're not sure what to say, especially in English.
You read my mind. That's exactly what we're talking about today. We're going to make sure that the next time you walk up to a hotel reception desk, you feel cool, calm, and confident.
Yep, we'll give you all the key phrases you need. We're going to cover everything from the moment you say hello to the moment you get that key card in your hand.
All right, so to get started, let's listen to a typical conversation. Imagine I'm a traveler, and Mia, you are the super friendly hotel receptionist.
I can do that. Ready when you are.
Hi there. I have a reservation under the name Jake Miller.
Hello, Mr. Miller. Welcome to the Grand Hotel. Let me just pull up your reservation. Yes, I see it here. A double room for 3 nights.
That's right.
Perfect. Could I please see your ID and a credit card for incidentals?
Sure. Here's my passport and my card.
Thank you. Everything looks good. Could you just fill out this registration form for me, please?
Of course. Okay, all done.
Great, thank you. Here is your key card. Your room is 502 on the 5th floor. The elevator is just around the corner to your left.
Awesome. Just a couple of quick questions. What time is checkout?
Checkout is at 11 a.m.
And is breakfast included with the room?
Yes, it is. Breakfast is served in our dining hall on the ground floor from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Perfect. And one last thing. What's the Wi-Fi password?
The network is Grand Hotel Guest, and the password is Welcome123. It's all written on this little card for you as well.
You've thought of everything. Thanks so much for your help.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Miller. Enjoy your stay.
And scene. See? Not so scary.
Not at all. A pretty smooth check-in. So let's break that down. Let's look at the key phrases we used.
Sounds good. The first thing I said was, I have a reservation under the name. This is the most common way to start. It's polite and gives the receptionist the exact information they need.
Right. You could also say, I'd like to check in, but adding, I have a reservation is super helpful.
For sure. And notice you called me Mr. Miller. In a hotel or any service situation, it's common to use titles like Mr., Mrs., or Miss with a last name. It's a sign of polite, professional service.
Exactly. Then I asked for 2 things, your ID and a credit card for incidentals. I said, could I please see your ID and a credit card for incidentals?
Okay. Incidentals is a great vocabulary word. What does that mean, Mia?
Good question. Incidentals are extra charges you might make to your room. For example, if you take a drink from the minibar or order room service or watch a pay-per-view movie.
Right. So the hotel holds your credit card information just in case you have these extra charges. It's totally normal.
Then I asked you to fill out this registration form. This is also very standard. It's just a form with your basic information, like your name, address, and signature.
Yup, nothing to worry about there. After that, you gave me my key card. 30 years ago, this would have been a real metal key, but now it's almost always a plastic card.
The famous key card. and I told you the room number and where the elevator was. Then, Jake, you asked some really good questions.
I tried. I think it's important to ask these things at the beginning so you know what to expect. First, I asked, what time is checkout?
Super important question. You don't want to be charged for another day because you checked out too late. The opposite of checkout is check-in, which is what we were doing.
Right. Then I asked, is breakfast included? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's always good to know.
Definitely. And notice Jake's phrasing. Is breakfast included? It's a simple, clear yes or no question. Perfect for this situation.
And my final and maybe most important question for the modern traveler, what's the Wi-Fi password?
The most important question of all. You have to be able to connect to the internet, right?
Of course. And you gave me the password and pointed out that it was written on a card for me, which is super helpful because I always forget.
Me too. And finally, I finished with enjoy your stay. This is a very common and friendly way to end the conversation. If a hotel employee says this to you, you can just say thank you.
And that's it. You're checked in, ready to go up to your room and jump on the bed.
The first thing everyone does. Okay, now that we've broken it down, let's practice some of these key phrases together. We want you to listen and then repeat the phrase out loud. Ready? Let's start with Jake.
I'll say the phrase, then you'll hear a little pause, and that's your chance to say it. Then Mia will repeat it again, okay? First one. I have a reservation under the name...
I have a reservation under the name.
Great. Next one. Could I please see your ID?
Could I please see your ID?
Nicely done. Let's do another. What time is checkout?
What time is checkout?
Excellent. Here's the next one. Is breakfast included?
Is breakfast included?
Perfect. And the last one for practice, what's the Wi-Fi password?
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Amazing job, everyone. Saying these phrases out loud is the best way to build confidence.
It really is. The more you say it, the more natural it will feel. So, we've covered the most common check-in scenario where you have a reservation. But Jake, what if you don't? What if you just walk into a hotel hoping they have a room?
Ah, a great question. This is for the more spontaneous traveler. In that case, you wouldn't say, I have a reservation. Instead, you would walk up and ask something like, do you have any rooms available for tonight?
Do you have any rooms available? That's the key phrase. You could also say, I'm looking for a room for 2 nights, for example.
Exactly. You tell them what you need. They might then ask, what kind of room are you looking for? And you could say a single room for just one person, or a double room, which usually has 1 big bed or 2 smaller beds.
Good point. It's useful to know that vocabulary. Single, double, or maybe even a suite if you're feeling fancy.
Totally. Now, what about other questions you might ask at check-in? We covered the basics, but there are other things you might want to know.
For example, you could ask about hotel amenities. That's another great vocabulary word, amenities. It means the features or services the hotel offers.
Right. So you could ask, is there a gym or do you have a swimming pool?
Or you could ask about a wake-up call. This is when you ask the hotel to call your room's phone at a specific time in the morning to wake you up. You'd say, could I get a wake-up call for 7 a.m., please?
That's a classic one for people who don't trust their phone alarm. Another thing you might want is a specific kind of room. You could ask, could I have a quiet room? Or is it possible to get a room with a view?
Ooh, asking for a room with a view is always a good idea. The worst they can say is no.
Exactly. It never hurts to ask. And one more thing about payment. The receptionist will usually confirm the price with you. They might say the total for your stay comes to, and then give you the amount.
And you can ask, can I pay now or when I check out? Usually you pay at checkout, but it can vary.
So, as you can see, there are lots of different questions you can ask to get the information you need. The key is just to be polite and clear. A simple "could I ask" or "I have a question about" is a great way to start. That's a great point, Mia. And usually everything goes smoothly. But what happens if there's a problem? For example, what if the hotel has the wrong information for your reservation?
Wow, that was a lot of great information, Jake. I feel ready to check into any hotel in the world now.
Me too. So let's do a super quick recap. Remember, the most important phrase to start with is, I have a reservation under the name.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask about checkout time, breakfast, and of course the Wi-Fi. It's your stay, so make sure you have all the info you need.
Exactly. The staff are there to help you. A smile and a polite tone will go a long way.
For sure. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We really hope this episode helps you feel more confident for your next trip.
Thanks so much for listening to the Out Loud English podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms and be sure to follow us on social media for more tips and updates.
And practice, practice, practice. Try role-playing the conversation with a friend. It really helps. Until next time.
Keep speaking out loud.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.